iPhone premium cigarillos. Reason I went live. Seems one of these undercovers were called to the scene for something. Again, as we do it, we see what's happening. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening. First time in a while they pulled up around here. He pulls up for what? I do have another one I'm about to do. I actually have an upload I'm about to put up on one of my first audits. The reason we do is because if you don't know what law is, what happens is when something's going on and someone's dealing with a situation, the norm is for an officer to try to escort someone off the premises. But what happens with this is unless you committed a crime in the state of PA, they can't really escort you off of a premise unless you're being detained. You do not have to provide ID unless you're being detained, and anywhere in a public setting, you're allowed to film. That's the whole ideology around this. I will have the camcorder rolling on the situations and stuff, but I don't really know what's happening. But we are allowed to film. So what happens is once he steps out, I'll switch the camera. This is a Facebook first. I'll get to switch the camera and we get to see how it works. You are allowed in a public space to film officers of the law. Like, share, subscribe. Again, someone's trying to get out of here, and I want to show how he's parked. Their parking spaces, the parking, but he's parked in the middle, so this person's going to have difficulty. Let's see. There we go. There's some type of issue going on where literally the situation he's asking for. You cannot interact with the people while he's interacting with them, but this is how the park job's done, which prevents people from going in and out. They had to squeeze by. Keeping the 10 meters away from the officer. I don't know why they were called. I don't see why they were called. As much as possible, I try and keep it on the officer of law because they can be filmed. This is a new guy. Again, why don't you guys come around like you were? And you are allowed to videotape what's in public. That's the information. So we're going to step ahead. I wanted to ask this. Is this some type of situation that's allowed? This is to show the way things happen when an officer pulls up to denote things. This is part of the problem. You cannot park like this in a normal place. This is not safe. It is of issue. So I want to let you know if you're in a situation, the parking and the issues is. So we're going to film and see if he approaches us. I'm definitely going to get the information of it because you can't, this is how he's parked. Anyone who wants to back out and leave, you'll have to ride on the wrong side just to get by. These are the type of things that make a person feel powerful, like they're empowered. And this is problematic in our society. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Yasmina? This is my first demo audit. I plan to do audits, especially in different places and families, and see what becomes of the situation. This is a part of how things are going to go. This is just sensible. We will go to certain places and try and check it out and see. The First Amendment allows freedom of press, freedom of speech. It's all a part of it. And when they're wearing a badge, they're in a jurisdiction where we are allowed to look at them. We'll see if this guy understands that. If not, but you got to keep your distance from the situation and the person. Excuse earlier, I had on a special case because I don't want to drop it and break it. So that's part of what I'm doing. You're seeing the first official audit. Shout out to everybody around. That's part of what CommenterNation Rights Reserve would do, not only investigations, but I allow audits. I like adding some type of feeling and flavor so you get to know exactly who I am in a situation. I think that's fair. When you pay taxes, this is what your money goes towards. Buying these cars, keeping them on the road, having him to walk around in his badge and things. This is a terrible park job. Lawfully, when you pull up, you can't obstruct traffic for something that is not a crash or something like that, and they're obstructing traffic genuinely. This is a danger. Actually, I think this phone could fit on the camcorder. I have to check that out. This could fit on the camcorder, and we're just making sure everyone's rights are held. He collects information, he keeps it going. I also want to show to everybody quickly how there is a parking space available. There's also parking spaces available over here. But if you cannot get past him, you cannot park, which means that you're held in disregard for the situation. It's dangerous. This is a danger. We see this all the time, consequently, where the abuse of power leads people to feel they can do whatever they feel. And if I spoke on something like this, some officer blocking traffic, it wouldn't be taken as serious. Never would. And if he approaches us, we'll ask him why he felt it necessary to block traffic this way. We'll also put up here information that's needed. And again, I'll ask him publicly badge number, and we'll see if he knows his rights with that. This is a safe way to make sure everyone's rights are respected. Because again, as I concluded to you in the other series that I started, I do not believe they actually know the rights of people. I don't believe that they'll respect the Constitution, and I think they'll fall short of knowing what can and can't be done. I actually wish that there were certain situations I dealt with where I will do it. When the community volunteers and stuff pull up, I'll start putting them on live immediately, so you'll get those notifications so you can see what we deal with. So tomorrow, I'm thinking of starting my first audit and going to a place where you guys can see me filming, and we'll see what they say. That's my goal. That's why this is the current mode that I'm in. And I just want to show you that I don't lie about different things going on. I really don't. I don't lie about how certain people are doing things a certain way. Now, when he's pulling out, 99% of the time, he's going to have to come park here anyway. So that's part of my issue. Why aren't you parking your vehicle normally? Well, you have to obstruct traffic to do so, even if it is doing your job. This is the norm. Hold on, he's backing out. See, now let's see how this works. So we have a total of at least 12 minutes that this has been done. I don't know how fast he types, how slow he types. That's why you park off into the side. Guys, welcome to the first audit. Genuinely, this is the same place where the officer violated me on the same exact side, where he could have made a very, let's say, hype situation out of nothing because he wanted to show up in a place where he wasn't welcome. Let's see what this is. Okay, that is the whole coupon. I don't know what the weight is, but we'll try and figure something out. I don't know what the weight is again, but we'll figure something out. I know you guys are used to seeing me, but please be patient as we're waiting to see how long it's going to be there. He's taking so long, the individuals that he's looking up and things have to go over to him. That's how long he's taking. I don't know, is this a new blood on it out here? I'm not understanding. Doesn't take rocket science to look something up and type it into the computer. It's not rocket science. Interesting. I'll take it so long. Very interesting. Now this guy's nearly been there almost a good 18 to 20 minutes. Always have a way to film when you're dealing with officers of the law. That is rule number one. You never know how authority are going to behave. That's the entire premise of this. The freedom of press is not only for press, but if you're not using a press pass and things, you have the right to film however you find it. Anything you can see in a public area, you can film. There's many different ways they try to tell you you're violating something, and that is usually so they can violate you. Know your rights, know your law, and we're going to see how lawful and how long an officer is able to sit in a middle of a passageway where people go to and fro and obstruct the vision of things. This is the whole thought premise of it. These are the individuals that are public servants to serve our needs and not to dictate your needs or dictate to you what is acceptable. I was kind of expecting and hoping for another car to pull up, but one has not. Maybe he thinks he can do it on his own. It would be nice to get multiple ones of you on the camera, because I can only imagine how the second guy will park, probably right behind him in the middle of the lane. And this seems to be a normal thing. And if it's a narrow road, they'll park in the middle of the road. I called them out on many videos I've done. And these are the issues. This is when you know that officer of the law is the problem. And again, he's about to be 20 minutes, and I guarantee you he's going to be over 20 minutes. I'm calling it right now. Clearly over 20 minutes. Look how he's taking so long. They went from sitting on the left to sitting on the right. So imagine if a crime was going down. That's 20 minutes down of a crime for him to deal with this type of situation. This is the efficiency of the officers. You guys saw me solve multiple different things in an even shorter time. This is how tax money gets spent. And this is the problem. This is the issue with how tax money is being spent. Unbelievable. In this amount of time, I could have enjoyed another Al Capone. And actually even went inside to type up work, played a game of League, figured out my next video in this amount of time. And this is the amount of time it takes them to deal with a situation. This is how efficient they are. And being real with you, this is more than the amount of time it takes when a real crime's going on for these guys to show up and do anything. It's taking so long. This guy had to walk over and lean into the car. And I know you guys can't see it, but it looks like a leak from that vehicle. Hold up. I don't know when he moves. It looks like the vehicle's leaking. Unless he's running the air conditioner at full power. I don't know why it's leaking. Yeah, I'm still going to keep over the 10 meters. I don't trust this. This is part of what will also be on my Patreon. Go over and subscribe to patreon.com/Czarr, all rights reserved, all one word. On Patreon is where I'll start posting my audits first. And I will do my audits. And then once I start uploading some audits there, I'll have a few live here, but this is the first one I saw, so. And this guy talking to him should not sway him to the events. And if that happens, that's also a violation. He's over there doing a lot of talking to him. It should be processed in a fair way. Part of why we put the visual on is to make sure that they stay fair and that they operate correctly. Whenever authority corrupts is when the whole, best believe it's all going down. Corrupts authority is not good authority. Now, another question I'd have for him is why he didn't turn his four-ways on to know that he's going to sit in the middle of the road. That is literally a violation. It doesn't, being officers doesn't mean you don't turn your four-ways on to direct people around you or to know what to do. And as earlier, we seen the car had difficulty getting around. Interesting. So that's part of what I'm trying to understand, why he would do that. So I'm very curious as to why four ways wouldn't be on in the midst of any type of stop. Does any officer co-sign this right now in the live? Any officer co-sign this? Hmm. He looks a little disheveled. final words yet. Now we're nearly at 40 minutes in the middle of an entryway parked with no four-way. How can I help you?
Recording something?
I'm filming. How can I help you? That's nearly 35 minutes in the middle of a travel way with no four ways, no nothing parked. And a vehicle leaking fluid. "35 minutes it took to fulfill a report. He's stepping out the vehicle. At least the door is open. He's still unsure, 1 foot out. Still in the middle of a walkway with customers traveling in and out, withheld from parking spaces because of his vehicle. They're not parking on this way. "35 minutes and 30 seconds. That is a record. And vehicle still parked in the spot, allegedly leaking fluids. There's fluids underneath there. Now, I don't know if it was there. We'll know when we look at it closer. So let me get over here. Let me take a look. Let's see. When he turns around, we'll see more. Vehicle parked still in the middle of the walkway, allegedly leaking fluid. Now there's a drain right there, so I'll give that the benefit of the doubt. This is unsafe. Individuals walking from the hotel. Partially blocked because of this vehicle right here in the middle of the travelway. You cannot interact with individuals. That's why I spoke to him that way whenever the officer's interacting until he completes his interaction. That is part of the law, and that was completed. Now, the further actions he takes will dictate exactly the follow of it, because the question would be, why not use four ways? And if his four ways do not work, what is the meaning of parking like this? And this is not a traffic violation. That's what I'm asking you guys. Is this not a traffic violation? Does this not cause concern for shopping individuals? He's not shopping. He's pulling up on a call. I'll go back to the parking manual, but to my knowledge, if it obstructs traffic, unless it is justly put out there, you cannot obstruct traffic that way. Interesting. The one thing I also want to mark is I'm looking at the vehicle now. Those tires need more air in them as well, sir. You cannot see underneath the car at this moment. When he decides to move it, we'll see if the pile of liquid underneath is fresh. Now, I know it works when the AC is doing it, but you know, there's different modules of it. And also understand that you do not have to provide any type of identification unless you are being detained or if there's a disperse order given. Understand that, and even that it has to be justly added, of course. Some level of probable cause or some level of disbursement giving because of a conglomerate of people together. That is the norm. That is the law. That is the rules. It is for the entire state. This is a local officer riding undercover, I might add. So you guys just be aware that these undercover cars exist. I don't know if anyone else. There are some states that it is law that they cannot have an undercover car, and I know one of those was Milwaukee last time I checked. Could be wrong, but he is in an unmarked car and sitting in the middle of traffic, so no one actually knows that there's an officer of the law unless they're detailing the car. So this could be anybody. Say someone saw a car sitting like this and said, now that he's able to do this, why can't I? And they thought it was an ordinary car. That would not be allowed. But we do not know the details dealing with this, but that's the whole thing. Welcome to the first audit. You guys are part of the originals to see the first audit that I've completed, and we will see how the film turns out. Just very interesting. I also want you to note how far away from the railing the car is. So there's a huge gap between the railing and that. So it's the middle of the road practically. Look, it's the middle of the road practically. There's basically no way to even go around it. It is still in the middle of the road. Still. Now look, he told him he can go. Now this guy, in order to back out and go, has to be on the wrong side, driving around the vehicle. Still drives around the wrong side. This is interesting. This is an issue. This can't happen. So this is my thing.
All right, guys, drive safe, yeah.
Approaching the car. And here, when he tries to move, that's when we'll get the license plate. Still leaves it there. And now he's walking into the store. Let's see what this license plate is, because he sat here for 41 minutes. 41 minutes. 41 minutes sitting. Let's see how he gets around them. 41 minutes sitting. $42 minutes. Let's see. PA, this is your car. See, he backed up so I couldn't get it. That's okay. He knows what it is. He backed up so I couldn't do it the right way. That's okay. I got him on video. Doesn't matter. He wants to sit around. 42 minutes. He sat in the middle of a walkway. And that's okay. We still got your license. You play around. I got to show them. You just increased my knowledge and tactics. You don't want to say nothing to me. You know what the law is. You know you just violated it. No four ways. No nothing. You just sat there 42 minutes. Actually, 41 minutes and 45 seconds. You sat there while traffic had to go around you. That is a violation. That is a violation, sir. And your car was leaking. Really? Your car's leaking like that? And you're just riding around in it? Even when I had leaks, I had to get fixed. So these guys don't have to put their four ways on if they're in the middle of traffic, and they don't have to keep their car up to date. They just hop in the service cruiser and pull off. And this is an unmarked car. And we're supposed to believe you're authoritative. You just hop out with the badge on. Come on. We got you. We got you. None of that's acceptable. That's unacceptable. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's why you didn't want to make eye contact, Dusty. You didn't want to make eye contact. You know who I am. You know what it is. Violating the law. I'm not playing with y'all. Go ahead. We'll get you all on film the same way you film others. We'll keep you on film. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Y'all know what time it is. You just seen TheCzarr All Rights Reserved first audit. You seen the first primary audit of an officer of the law, and where I think they're unlawful. And now you know. So let me go in here, update it. We'll go from there. But what were y'all thoughts on that? What were y'all thoughts on that? Now we're going to be showing up to some of these places, so they're going to know. You're going to see that they know me well. Didn't even want to look at me. Matter of fact, you turned off because you were trying to avoid me seeing your plate. Like, yo, out normal. He turned around the car, no turn signal. Like, stop playing. You got me confused. What's wrong with you? You know how I rock. All rights reserved.